And wonder. I know why I couldn't hear myself. Because, like you, your pot's right now, my pot was down.
I was like, hello.
Yeah. I was so engrossed in setting up something so that Kelly could finally get the opportunity to hear something that I've been talking about for a while.
Oh, Lord, I'm scared. What is it?
Watch me wallabies feed, mate.
Oh,
Watch me wallabies feed. Hey, look, they're a dangerous breed, mate. So watch me wallabies feed all together now. Time me kangaroo down, sport. Time me kangaroo down.
You have heard that before. Thank God.
I remembered it when you played that before when that came up.
That God, we were out camping and we always carried a transistor radio in those days in the early 60s, late 50s. We had this little, my neighbor did. I didn't have a $75 transistor radio in those days. You know, those little suckers, they cost a fortune when they first came out.
My mama got us radios through the stamps she got at the AMP. She went shopping.
I forgot about those
the
things.
Books
Yeah.
of stamps.
Well, good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Kelly Knapp.
And I'm Lee Barrows.
And it is a
Friday. Thank you, Friday.
It is a Friday. Fantastic Friday. The last Friday before Christmas.
Yes.
Y'all got to hurry and get out there. Now, this is not a commercial. I'm going to give you all some news here. I don't know whether it's happening in Jacksonville right away or not. However, Big Lots is going out of business. They're closing their doors.
January.
Yeah, but they've launched sales. They said that we're going to mark everything down now.
And I'm going by there when I live here.
I bet you are.
You have enticed me.
If you see anything that I can't live without, please go ahead and pick it up. Yeah, right. What? There have been on occasion
I'll be calling Robbie.
when I could not find something because people didn't carry those items anymore, little electronic devices or a cable, you know. I dropped by when I'd go by the computer stores, even when Radio Shack was in business. I'd go by all of these places.
I loved Radio Shack.
I didn't want to order it online because I kind of needed it yesterday.
Right.
And I dropped by there, and as often as not, I found it. But I don't think they even carry that stuff anymore. So whatever.
I loved Radio Shack.
Well, I did too. Radio Shack was.
My dad used to love it. Yeah, that was his go-to store.
All the gadgets in there.
Yeah, because they had parts, and guys who deal in electronics, ham guys, we actually need to buy parts to repair things,
right?
Not just replace.
I've done that many a time. Go out and buy new coax cable or the little connections.
Oh, you can get that at Lowe's.
I know.
What I'm talking about, like resistors, capacitors,
I don't do
parts to be soldered in, stuff like that. You know, when you and actually build little things that I can match up output of an amplifier like I have out here to feed my little box out there that controls the lights when I used to put that thing up there. I had to build a little pad, they call it.
I just, that was the go-to store.
Yeah, it was for me. You know, it used to be here way back in the 60s and 70s and probably into the 80s when I was gone and also in Wilmington, but Southeastern Electronics.
I remember that store.
That was it was a higher scale.
Right.
Didn't have as much stuff in as
I never shopped
always
it,
needed.
but I remember it.
But anyway, that's the kind of stuff that I used to do. Okay, you guys wrapped up. Everything's done. You got it all wrapped, Kelly?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, don't say it like I should have known it. I suspected it, but
I have been complaining about because remember I told you I wasn't doing like last year. Last year it took me 6 hours. So this year I wrapped as my stuff arrived. I wasn't doing that again.
Okay.
That was a lot. But this I also got lazy on some things. And some things were so big I had to buy those bicycle bags that you put up like a bike in. And I had to put the boxes in they were that big.
They have a bicycle bag that you can
put it like if you get it. Yeah, you can
bags for everything.
The bag and a bicycle will fit in it. Yes.
How much does a bag cost?
Would you believe I paid like a couple, $2 or $3 for one?
It's like a
Cheap.
huge trash bag, but it's decorative.
Mm-hmm. But it's bigger than a trash bag because
Yes.
a bike will fit in it. But yeah, so a couple of my items I bought boxes were that big. Works.
I bet your delivery people for Amazon do not like you.
Oh, one of the guys, one day, 2 days in a row, didn't get anything, and he was concerned. He
I'm
said
gonna tell
it
you.
on the third day when
Did he?
I was actually outside. He goes, I was getting worried.
Did he call the police department for a health and welfare
I
check?
don't know, but it was a Saturday, and for the Thursday and Friday, it had no deliveries. I was out walking to my car in the driveway. He said, I was getting. He's like, oh, okay.
But I tell you, where
Yeah,
you live,
that's
you my mail route.
Oh, really? Okay.
And when I went in there, it was always on. I can't remember the name of the streets right now, but there was 2 courts
Mhm.
every day through the year. There was 3 or 4 got Amazon every day, every day. And if I had a day they didn't have
You get
packages, I was like,
concerned.
oh, it's getting ready to blow up. We're going to get hit hard here soon.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember the name. I have to go by and look at it. But that
Mhm.
neighborhood right there, when I got done with that neighborhood, my car was empty.
Yeah.
My car was empty.
I believe.
Well, you
that's
needed
it.
something
It's
besides a
like-
smart car or the size of a smart car.
I had a SUV that I used.
A
A
full
Jeep
size one.
Cherokee. In fact,
Oh,
the last
really?
one, Jeep Cherokee was the last one.
My first Jeep was a Cherokee Chief.
Yeah.
It was a 2-door version of the Wagoneer, which
Oh,
was
yeah,
the
that's
big
nice.
car.
Mine was the 4-door with the hatch in the back, and it was so cool to deliver mail with.
Yeah,
Put down that
my,
back seat and just
my good old Cherokee Chief, you push the button, glass comes down all the way down. And that was cool. When you
it
get out
was
there
the
and want
best
some air.
vehicle I ever had that I used on the route.
Yeah.
And gosh, it was about brand new when right up here in front of the country club before they had the light, I had a lady make a left right in front of me, and I didn't
I
have
bet
time.
she's.
Well, it tore my Jeep up.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it did. But you know what? They got it fixed. And a month later, I was back delivering mail in it for several years.
What year model was that thing?
Oh, do you ask me? And I don't remember. It
90s?
was in the 90s.
Okay, it wasn't the big one then.
No, it was the size of a little bit bigger than maybe the Terrain that it's like Kelly's car, a little bit taller than that,
Mhm.
but it was not the great big Jeep.
I had the 83, I think it was, Jeep Cherokee Chief.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking
Oh, and
about.
that was a
But one
fire
of the
breather.
best vehicles I've ever had. I mean, that thing, and it was so easy because I could do the maintenance on it myself.
Hmm.
But
Mine, you could crawl under just about it. It's
I would never
Around.
attempt to even change the oil in a car now. Not the way.
I couldn't find an oil spigot.
Yeah, be putting transmission fluid in the
I
wrong
would.
place.
That wouldn't be
Yeah.
a problem either. I could do that. I could see that happening in a heartbeat.
It's just too much now.
If it happens to me now, it lacks auto service.
Yes, good people.
Because they pull up and they know better. No, they're good people.
Bless you.
They don't give me any problems. As a matter of fact, they bailed my butt out many times, especially with flat tires.
Very
Oh,
good
yeah.
people.
Well. Let's go into Eastern North Calchalucci first.
I got a feeling it may be Carteret County.
Catterick County.
Yeah, there you go.
An illegal alien has been arrested by the Carteret County Sheriff's Office following a child crimes investigation. He is not one of the drone operators. Agents with the Sheriff's Office Crimes Against Children Unit arrested 27-year-old Nestor Ivan Angel. Yep. Angel Tack Angel is his last name. Charging him with taking indecent liberties with a child and disseminating obscenities. Both are felony charges. The accused has been living in Newport. Boy, do I have questions.
Mhm.
They found evidence that Angel enticed the child to send nude photos over social media in exchange for money, and that he had sexually abused a minor. The investigation is ongoing. Criminal charges are likely. Angel currently residing in the Carteret County Jail under a bond totaling $150,000 secured. Secured means you got to put it up.
Mm-hmm.
ICE has placed a detainer on him should he be released for any reason, including if he manages to raise $150,000. If he gets out on bail, he gets rearrested by ICE. They take him into custody. Knowing the sheriff of Carteret County, known him for many years, it's a safe bet that the ICE requests will be honored. No sanctuary county here. And Sheriff Asa Buck will certainly cooperate with the feds and the whole thing. The Morehead City Police Department was also involved in that investigation. You know, that's one of the things there over there. I've noticed there are some of the special units, divisions with the sheriff's office, like the narcotics guys. They got people assigned to them from pretty much every department, police department in Carteret County. When they get out to do something, they may have, I don't know how many people they got now. One time they had a 4-man department, but by the time they got through with it, they had like 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 cops working it with the same unit. So that's always good. Combined city county units are wonderful in situations like that.
He seems to have a great rapport with other counties and working together.
He does. Not sure where Angel came from, what country. He's only 27, but I'm pretty sure his remaining days in this country will be in confinement. And once he gets through with this country, if he ever pays his debt to society in this country, if found guilty, then he'll be deported to wherever he came from. I'm not sure what kind of name Nestor Ivan Angel Tack Angel is. I forgot to run him through North Carolina. That'd be a shame if he's got a conviction record in North Carolina and he's still an illegal alien and running around. That would have been awful, wouldn't it? I better double check that.
You probably don't even realize, not you per se, but you could be standing in the grocery store, a store in there shopping or whatever, and you're surrounded by a lot of people, and there may be 5, 6, 7 illegal aliens, and you don't know. You
There's
don't have a
no
clue
way of
anymore.
knowing.
You have no clue.
Yeah, and if you do like I used to do in the mornings driving back and forth to Wilmington, I would typically take the bypass there around at Hampstead.
Yes.
And take I-40, I-140 over to I-40 and come in I-40 onto whatever. But I could pick coming out of the Duplin County area and up in that direction, Pender, Duplin, on up the line, people that were working in Wilmington but living there. I'll guarantee you that if anybody, if they came, they say that cops profile all the time. If they did, they would set up on I-40 coming into Wilmington every morning between 6:30 and about 8. And I guarantee you there would be a lot of abandoned vehicles alongside the road that didn't have current registration or insurance.
Yeah.
And their drivers would have been arrested for having no operator's license.
Yes.
That's the way things work.
True.
Good Lord.
So cops don't profile nearly as much as you think that they do. Okay, we ran out of time yesterday. Before we could talk more about a story out of Colorado that developed over the weekend, last weekend, Aurora, Colorado Councilwoman Danielle Jurinsky is telling fellow councilmen as well as left-leaning city leaders, along with the leftist citizens of Colorado and the media, I told you so. She said she didn't want to have to say it, but she's been warning for quite some time about the city's lack of response to illegal migrant gangs operating in their city. Over the weekend, according to the city's police chief, 13 members of the gang, a rabid, violent gang with roots in Venezuela. You can pronounce it, Kelly.
Well, how can I pronounce it?
You always do.
Are you talking
I
about the
butchered it a
gang?
lot. You talking about? You talking about the gang member?
Yeah.
The Tren de Aragua.
See,
Yeah.
I told you you could do it.
I don't know. I'm saying it right, but I know the Tren de I am.
Yeah, I got
that
the
part
second
down,
one.
too.
That part I had down
I think it's
good.
Aragua.
Anyway, the TRD
Tren de Aragua.
doesn't sound anything like French, does it?
It's not French. It's Espanol.
Anyway, these 13 members of the gang, they entered an apartment at a complex that had previously been the center of gang-related violence.
Yep.
The gangsters took 2 victims to another unit where they were beaten, pistol whipped, and threatened. Councilwoman Jurinsky said, "This isn't just
we gotta grab the dish.
This isn't just assault. This isn't just fistfights. This is absolute torture." I agree. The problem with her statement seems to hint that the lesser crimes are okay.
I mean,
Let me read that to you again. She said, her words, "This is not just an assault. This isn't just fistfights. This is absolute torture."
yeah, I believe it because it's what they're used to doing.
No. Give the animals an inch and you will lose complete control. If you're just going to walk away from, this is just an assault, and these are illegals in here anyway, and they're members of a gang, it's just fistfights. No. You give them an inch, you end up with torture, and that's what they've got. Y'all brought it upon yourselves, Councilwoman Jurinsky.
Yeah.
You didn't
Remember,
stand
they
up.
wanted to be a sanctuary city,
I know.
and that's what that means. Yeah.
It's happened elsewhere. Read anything about gangs in Chicago recently. Have you heard anything about them? Their violent acts are so commonplace that nothing even makes the news anymore.
Well,
Especially when you compare it to what's happening in other places with this trend, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
It's not acceptable. Before Aurora gives up his image, the good people of that town need to join together to provide support, aid, and anything else the police department needs to return the animals to their cages where they can await deportation early next year. In about a month from
Well, they'll
today.
come back unless we can get that wall put back up.
Well, I'm not sure where they're going to be dropped. And before you jump up and down, I will repeat, those animals I note are members of a vicious gang from Venezuela.
Oh, absolutely.
So mean that Venezuela doesn't even want them back in their country.
Yeah.
So don't jump on me about putting them in cages and sending them somewhere else. That's exactly where they need to be.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, this was linked to the same thing that happened before, which the government kept saying, the government on one side kept saying, "Oh, no, that didn't happen. It didn't happen at all."
We're going to talk about the government and backpedaling a little bit now.
Yeah,
on something
sure.
From the Pentagon. But y'all going to take it differently than I'm taking it. The Weekend Marine Forecast brought to you by Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville. The 2024 presidential election happened 6 weeks ago, but the results are still bringing out the best and the worst in a lot of us. Is getting mad all that bad when we're talking about the candidates we supported that lost? It's just venting, right? If you're one of those who can't let it go, how long before you can just let it go and stop being mad? I'm tired of people just jumping up and down. And I saw something on a YouTube piece last night, and I'm like, oh my Lord. A guy is standing around. I forgot where it was. He's wearing a MACA. Happened a month or two ago before the election. And a woman became so irate, she got the security guards and demanded that he be ejected or take his hat off.
What an idiot.
Oh, he gets better. He gets better. I'll finish this weather and we'll talk about that because that brings out the absolute epitome. It was something China Grove, or not China Grove, but it was a Cypress Grove, I think, mall somewhere or another. Maybe it's not the outcome of an election. Maybe something else gets under your skin and you just can't get over it. Are there issues that have become all-consuming, perhaps to the point that it interferes with the relationships you have with your friends, colleagues, and family? Feel bad and question whether you may be overreacting. If you feel like you're overreacting or question yourself, perhaps you are. If you blow up at people, at events where you have no control, it might be time to bite the bullet and seek the help of a counselor, a professional that will actually listen to you. Community Prevention Services, located at 918 Henderson Drive, right here in Jacksonville, has counselors who will listen to you and work with you to find a resolution to your issues. They'll not judge you, and they won't share with anyone anything that you talk about. Community Prevention Services accepts most insurance plans as well. Give them a call today to schedule some one-on-one time. 910-353-0972. That's 910-353-0972. Offshore out to 20 nautical miles. Well, if you got any last-minute Christmas shopping to do this weekend, you'll have the chance.
Mhm.
Northwesterly winds today, 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet, occasionally up to 6 feet, 2 to 3 near shore, sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Tomorrow, northerly winds 15 to 20 with gusts of 30 knots, seas 3 to 5. They'll get up to about 6 feet at times, 2 to 3 near shore, sounds and rivers choppy. Sunday, northerly winds 15 to 20, diminishing to 10 to 15 in the afternoons, gust up to 25 knots. This is a breezy December. If I've
It
ever
is. I
seen
was
one.
thinking that too. I'm
And
glad
normally
you
they're
said.
kind of calm and
Yeah.
cold in the mornings and calm, and no.
Yeah.
Seas 3 to 5 feet on Sunday, about 2 feet near shore. Sounds and rivers choppy, diminishing to a moderate chop in the afternoon.
Well, today, mostly cloudy, a high of 54. Tonight, mostly cloudy during the early evening, then gradual clearing with a low of 33. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of only 49. Our winds will be what I would call breezy, 7 to 11 miles an hour with 20-mile-an-hour gusts. Clear, cold, low of 22. On Sunday, it'll be sunny, a high of 42 only. And clear sunny
Bird.
night and
Bird.
super duper cold with a low of 16. Then Monday, sunny, a high of 48. Christmas Day is only going to be 59.
Well, that's almost
Yeah.
60.
I know.
That's not a problem.
No, it'll be
That's
sunny.
season-
No rain in the forecast. for
seasonal.
next. Yeah,
You know,
I agree with that.
you started the
No snow.
talk about Christmas and people getting anxious and
Yeah.
et cetera. And then Kelly went into it. But I have got a story for Kelly.
Let's hear it.
All right. This is to get back at the snake. Anyway,
Okay, do it.
airports around the world are getting pretty crowded for the holidays this
Absolutely.
year. And
Yep.
with that, it didn't take long for things to get ugly at Chicago O'Hare International Airport last week.
Okay.
Because
On December 12th, a video of a few travelers fighting at the Chicago airport surfaced on social media. It starts off with a guy using a wet floor sign as a weapon. Another traveler tried to defuse the situation by throwing some haymakers, but he eventually got knocked to the floor. An airport
you don't stop a fight by fighting.
an airport employee in a blue shirt grabbed a floor sign as his own
Oh,
and
no.
threatened
Oh,
to
my
use
God.
it as a weapon.
Dueling
But by
floor
then, the
signs.
fight was already over. And this is the best part. According to the reports, this fight took place inside American Airlines Terminal 3.
Not even remotely surprised.
It's
by
tough
that.
to tell because this looked like a fatal four-way match at WrestleMania.
And it would be interesting to know what they were fighting
It
about.
does
I think
not
it doesn't
matter.
matter. But the fact that it was American Airlines says
They-
a whole lot right
they
there. Y'all know
just-
I'm not a fan of American
Well, I
Airlines.
thought
I know
about
what
you
it
when I
was.
read this.
I know you didn't get the backstory on it.
What is it?
No,
Um,
it doesn't say, but there are videos on X, but the comments are the funniest.
Oh, the comments are always the greatest.
Yeah, well,
They're the best.
there was a flood in the bathroom there at that terminal.
It was.
And
Yeah,
it-
because
and
it
it moved.
moved all the way to the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. The flood
what it
just
was all
went
about.
with the passengers.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
there was a snake crawling through the
Oh,
flood
gosh.
as it came.
American Airlines. I thought of you, Kelly, and I thought I could just,
It's
if you
appropriate.
watch, hilarious.
I need to
Picking
double
up a
the video.
wet floor sign,
Do
That is
wet
like
floor
sad
signs.
in itself.
At airports.
the cartoons got to be.
Airports
Yes.
are hectic enough. I mean,
Yeah.
I spent more time worrying about getting to my gate on time, less than wanting to fight with somebody. American Airlines, is your
I'm
airline-
not even remotely surprised. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Well,
That's shocking.
Chicago.
The fact that it was at Chicago probably
Yes.
it was more indicative of what was going on than it was anything with American.
I would have
Yeah.
loved to have witnessed that.
I would too.
I
just
would
to
have
stand
a
and-
blast.
Oh, I'd
Yeah.
be like,
Pay-per-view.
get him, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this mall. So this guy's standing in there, and he's just he's dressed very casual,
Mhm.
Right.
sloppy, but he's dressed very casual, and he's wearing the MAGA hat.
Okay.
And the woman, who is apparently well known to the mall, she shops there all the time, And so she gets a security guard who had to call for reinforcements because she said, this guy's got to get rid of this hat. So he called for somebody else. He was new on the job. And they sent another security guard, female, seniority. And so they decided that he would go over and tell the guy that he had to remove his hat or leave. And the guy said, show me where is in your policy here and what's illegal or what kind of policies you had that say I can't wear anything political.
Right.
Well, sir, that's not the point. We have had a complaint and you've got to go.
No.
He said no. Security guard's like, So his supervisor, a superior person, I don't know what the supervisor, superior person goes over together. They tell the guy the same thing. He said, no, not going. You'll need to get your manager down here. So the manager comes down. Manager does the same thing. He's calm, cool, and collected. The woman who wants him ejected from the place is still up in arms, insisting that he leave because everything he's got on his head represents something that offends me. It's offensive.
I'm so sick of hearing the word offensive about things
Same.
related to
It
politics.
gets really good.
Oh, goodness.
Goes on. And so the manager says, we're going to have to remove you. We're going to escort you out. Security officers escort this man outside. And he said, you are going to regret this. Is that a threat? No, ma'am. Just remember the words. You are going to regret this. Overnight, the people in the mall get notified. All of the individuals involved, all of the department heads, and the manager of the whole mall are notified by email. There is a meeting. Notified by the CEO or whoever it was in charge of the mall. They had a big meeting in the office. We had an issue yesterday, as you all know about, and it got down to the point that you ordered these security officers to throw this guy out. Yeah. Well, he was supposed to leave. We told him he had the offensive hat that he was wearing. No, it doesn't matter what he was wearing. Was he abusive? Was he doing something inappropriate? He was wearing the hat. No. We don't have any policies against that.
Mm-hmm.
There are no laws about it, right? Well, I want you to know that that was the new owner of this mall and others.
Oh,
Nice.
His name is Ben Wallace,
oh.
and he's here to talk with you.
I'd have fired every one of
No,
them.
he fired the manager of the mall, though, on the spot. The other officers didn't want to do it. They were ordered to do it.
Mhm.
He put them on notice. You make that mistake again. I don't care who tells you to violate policies, infringe upon a customer's rights.
Mhm.
I don't care what they look like. I don't care what color they are. I don't care how they're dressed. I don't care what they're wearing.
Mhm.
Unless they're being,
Disruptive. Yeah.
then we not going to eject them because one person here is feeling offended.
Wonder what they all thought.
Oh, apparently they thought a lot.
Mhm.
I bet there's a text chain now every morning like, he's here, he's here.
No, they
And it
didn't.
goes, chick, 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 everybody.
But
running.
anyway, they came up with the district manager and presented a deal. They put a new interim manager in for the
Mhm.
mall, which became the full-time manager. But they came up with a plan, and they posted the rules. It was just a notice to all customers and all employees. We respect everybody who shops here and who works here.
Mhm.
We anticipate that you will do exactly the same thing. We don't care what you look like. We don't care how you're dressed. We appreciate you shopping here.
And nobody cares about your political
And
affiliation.
they
right.
didn't even mention the word politics here at all. But everybody knew what it was all about.
Mhm.
And they posted it at every entrance and throughout the entire mall.
Very good.
And then
Way to go.
they had re-education
Yeah.
for staff.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
And,
good.
He's been going back periodically, and he says it's a world of difference there.
I
Yeah.
imagine so.
Well, I wonder how that woman's fared after the
Oh.
election. She's
Oh.
really hating her life right about now.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
I brought
she's-
that up because of what I was saying about people who need some assistance. If they
Right.
can't get over it, if you let something like that ride with you,
Well, I
I mean, for 4 years or 6 years or 8, whatever, get over it. You know what? If you don't like it, change it in the next go round.
You know, walk on by.
Walk on by.
and go
There's a
do
song
your
about
thing. And just, I mean, I learned a while back.
Okay.
It was easier not to wear political garb
Mhm.
when I was out doing something.
Well, I don't
because-
anyway.
If
but
you're
yeah.
doing something on your job, and your job is like I had as news director, the
Right.
policy was you're not going to have bumper stickers on your cars in
I
our
couldn't
parking
either.
lot. You can
Right.
park in the church across. But things like we don't advertise who we support because we're in the news business. Duh. Obviously, they don't do that anymore anywhere. But well, I guess I was a dinosaur.
Right.
But that was just the way it was. I was the only one that ever had a bumper sticker on the car in the parking lot.
I never put any kind of bumper stickers on my
And
vehicle.
it was a
It's
political
not
bumper
wanna
sticker.
just-
It
I
was a
just think it looks
political bumper
trashy,
sticker
but-
when Hillary Clinton was running for president in 2008.
Wow.
It was on my car.
Oh, you got fearless,
Oh, I
didn't
would
you?
fight somebody on
My
the street over that one.
friend Doug put it on my
Oh, that's
car.
right. I remember that.
I remember
story
that
now.
story about Doug.
Now,
It
I
was
know because I know people that have had, like, I know a gentleman that had a Trump license plate, vanity plate on the front of his truck. And one day he was parked somewhere and his truck got vandalized.
Oh,
And so I take it as probably because of,
Possibly, yeah.
But no, I mean, I've done my share in the past when I was working with a party, wear a hat or a shirt or something like that. But this past time, I didn't even put up one sign in my yard.
well, I
was
don't
like,
put them up,
"No."
But and it's like with retired CID officer, friend of mine, back in the day when Trump was running the first go round. I just made mention when I was reading all the stories about people wearing MAGA hats, people running up and hitting them in the head and knocking their
Right.
hats off or stealing their hats. I said, you know what? I don't even have one of those hats. Maybe I ought to try to find one and see if anybody wants to knock it
Yeah,
off my
see if they
head.
want to do that.
Well, he bought me one and he dared me to wear it. Well, I did.
Mhm.
And all I got were, hey, man, I like that hat. Cool hat.
Mhm.
This is not what I intended.
Maybe
to
you should have
happen.
wore it in Durham or Raleigh. You would probably
Why
have
would
a
I
better
want to go to
response.
either one?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so this government shutdown that's potentially looming. Okay, it's over the budget, correctly?
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Sort of,
Um,
kind of, maybe.
Is the
It's an
argument
excuse for a vacation.
is
Yeah,
it
they
the
do
argument only Republicans, or is it a mix of Republicans and Democrats that are saying we're not going to pass this budget?
I think it's a combo.
Some Democrats did vote for, I think, 23 or something like that. Some did.
I
Okay,
didn't pay
'cause
attention. It's
all-
an effort in futility, and
Yeah.
it's sometimes an annual, sometimes a biannual.
Yeah, I know they-
It's,
yeah.
it's like, okay, you got nothing else to moan and groan and gripe and complain about, so let's just create something here. We need something to keep the people's attention, and they're going to beg us to come back to work and get the job done, and we will relent and we'll come back to work and we will bilk them out of their money again for living expenses while we go do this.
All right, so a guy I went to high school with who is what I call a raging Democrat, and I called him that to his face. I mean, we're
Oh.
friends, so
Well, is he a Democrat?
he's a huge Democrat.
Well, then,
Yeah, and I tell him you're a raging Democrat. Well, he made a post yesterday, and he writes, because I want to read one of the comments and get your opinion on it. He wrote, "Can any of my Republican friends explain to me why we would want the government shut down, leaving federal employees unpaid through the holidays? Is there something good here I'm missing?" So there was like 10, 11 comments. And so this another guy, we all went to high school together. He writes, this is where I got a little confused. He writes, "Well, first of all, everyone needs to acknowledge the reality that there is not a Republican Party anymore. There is the Democratic Party and the
oh, for heaven's sake.
Yeah.
I do too.
He said the party of McCain, the party of Romney is gone. Well, nobody likes Romney anyway, so take that part out too. Anyone who would dare challenge that is just being intentionally dishonest about the current reality. The Democrats certainly have their flaws, but this is on MAGA politicians. So that's ridiculous.
MAGA politicians mean Trump supporters, right?
I'm assuming that's what he means. Correct.
Oh, okay. That's
yeah.
just weird.
But there is not a because within the Republican Party there are the MAGA people, and then there are just the Republicans.
And what are the MAGA people?
I call them
right.
the rabid, far right, Proud Boy, ultra Trump supporters. I don't know what other word I would use. The ones that
They're
are
extremes.
beyond extreme.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think MAGA.
Because MAGA is just make America great. Why would you
Yeah.
not want America to be great? Like, I don't understand. But then he writes, now about the looming government shutdown. The same people keep bringing us to that cliff. And we also need to acknowledge the growing animosity towards our democratic form of government, primarily one party. Back up.
It's a
because
Republican form of government, y'all.
I think the growing animosity comes from a lot of the Democrats, the way they want to change the government. But that's a Kelly opinion. The desire is to eliminate everything they can in the name of government efficiency. What is efficient about spending money on, $1 billion on the study of some kind of bird in Africa? But okay, that's a whole. That's
Or in selling for 5 cents on the dollar.
Yes.
For scrap
Where is
metal.
the efficiency? Someone tell me, Doug, Theo, tell me, because I want to know. So then he writes, and the unspoken goal is to eliminate oversight so the system can be abused by the very well off. There will be nothing in place to hold gold diggers and white collar criminals accountable. We should all keep the federal government working folks in our prayers. They deserve better. Okay.
As they sit home sipping their drinks and lounging out by the pool if they're in the South.
Well, one thing I want to say too, Biden just recently signed that, I don't know if it's an order, what it was, saying giving the federal workers the right to work at home for another 5 years or something. And I'm here to tell y'all.
That ain't getting the
Okay,
job
they'll
done.
change that.
That's
I
costing us.
I definitely hope so, because
Yes.
I have sat on Zoom calls with people in other parts that I know of they're federal workers sitting at home. Well, some of them are at home. One time somebody was at a store. Now you tell me, how much work are these people actually getting done?
That's right.
We've got state employees here working like for the state that are still working from home. And there is absolutely, and I'm going to rage about it again. I said somebody a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I'm going to continue to say it. They need to have their butts back in downtown Raleigh in that giant building that as a taxpayer that I'm paying money to put keep those lights on and those phones working. And there is no telling how much that is.
If they don't want to do that,
Yeah.
then rent out that space.
Mm-hmm.
Give them no home. Let them stay at home. We will rent out your office for something else.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they could put illegal aliens there.
Well, then they had a message, but big old email sent out, worried about what the next 4 years were going to bring. Because you're actually going to have to work. We laughed about it at work because, these are people that we have to report to for certain things.
Uh-huh.
And, y'all are in the middle of a meeting about one thing and then you bringing up some nonsense. And I think, don't bring politics into it because it should not be. But y'all are worried about this, that, and the other. And and one of my employees was like, this is offensive. And it is. But we can't say anything because then we get crucified by all the other ones. All of us have to come to work. I should.
Mm-hmm.
And as a tax-paying citizen that we're paying for that big building.
How would you be able, and I know during the pandemic, it was a different story.
That was different.
Okay, but how would you be able to, let's say, do counseling with a client who wants to Skype you or Zoom in and you get to see this person two dimension from here to here.
Yeah.
How do you read that person? Can you read the body language on that person very well?
No, I have a couple of clients that Skype for various reasons only. There's some of them are medical issues. I don't like doing what's called telehealth. I just don't like it. I think it's super impersonal. It is a little harder to read somebody, But I had somebody in one of them, and I finally just stopped doing it with them, and I had to explain why. Somebody came into the room. They turned the TV on. And when you're doing something, especially when you're doing trauma work with somebody, and it's very, very personal stuff, and you've got somebody coming in the room kind of listening in, I finally had to shut that down. I'm like, no.
There suddenly gets to be a HIPAA issue.
It becomes a lot of issues, but it's distracting. You're.
Of course, it might give you the opportunity to see this person who's calm, cool, and collected, and somebody walks, and he breaks bad.
Well, sometimes some of them have just stopped talking to me and just entertain them. I'm like, what the heck? Oh yeah, answering the phone like
you're not even there.
Well, it's just how invested in your therapy are you? Yeah. I mean, I've had a few
That'd
clients.
That'd be like me picking up the phone over here and talking to somebody while you're talking to me right now. What?
Well,
how's that going to work out?
Yeah, I mean, and I've had a couple of clients in my office, like their phone ring, but it's like their doctor. And they're like, well, my doctor's calling. I'm like, answer it. Especially the clients that I know. And I had to argue with, so I had to almost yell at them one day. I'm like, I'll come, you answer that phone right now, because they were supposed to be getting test results, and this was a serious, and I'm like, so they answered it, and they were glad they did. I'm like, well, I'd have thought you'd be upset. Heck no, I'm not going to be upset over your doctor calling you, knowing, because it's something serious. But if your best friend's calling because they want to meet for lunch, okay, then, that's interrupting therapy, but not something serious.
I end up with that a lot. And, it's as simple as going to the supermarket. And if you you're lucky to get into a checkout line, there's got a living, breathing, air breathing individual there to check you out.
A human, yeah.
Well, maybe.
That's true too at this point.
But anyway, you've got somebody there to check you out. For me, they're being paid to check me out. Why would I interrupt them by walking up there? I mean, even if my phone rings while I'm in that line, I'm not going to take the call. But walking up there and you're on the phone as you approach it.
Oh, I see. I mean,
I see it all the time.
I do too, and it's so
I'm
annoying.
like, how does a clerk put up with this?
Yes.
Now, I worked a cash register.
Hello?
I do too. Yeah.
For a little while.
Yeah, but I mean,
for a little while, I worked a cash register.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I say, I'll ring you up when you finish your call. Step aside. And I take other people right in front of them.
Yes, but I think it's rude. It is rude.
And it is rude.
I
for all the people behind you.
Yes.
I don't want to hear you fighting with whoever or talking about your.
Not only that, but as the checkout clerks go say, this looks like, did you realize I'm asking you questions? Huh? What? Huh? No.
Yeah.
No.
I agree.
Stop. I'm not going to check you out if you're on the phone. When I did have that job. But I just, why would anybody want to do that?
I can be on the phone as I'm approaching the line, but I always tell everyone that I'm talking to or anyone, I'm going to hang up now because I'm getting ready to check out.
I don't want people listening to me.
I don't either.
Right.
I don't want, if I'm standing in a line that's a mile long, I don't care. I'm not going to get on the phone and start talking to people. Because I don't want people to listen to me.
I get distracted. So there's that. And two, if I'm trying to push a cart, I'm not going to hold a phone, push a cart, trying to put my stuff in. Well, y'all do go into the store much as y'all know.
But checked out properly too.
But one thing I did do during COVID, Rayford, is because at first we had to do telehealth, and I just don't like telehealth. Yeah. I won't do it with kids because I've learned that just don't work.
Imagine those same kids trying to do it in school.
Oh, and that's a whole
work.
Separate issue. It doesn't work well. Especially for therapy. But I had started with adults. You can't do it with kids, but with some of my adult clients, I finally got creative. And I call out a flight for this from some people. I'm like, y'all just lazy. I would have the client come to, work. They would back their car in. I would in so that the windows are, facing each other. Did therapy, no issue at all. Right. It really wasn't a HIPAA violation because you don't know who that person is. They could have been my neighbor, could have been my sister, could have been, whoever. And they loved it. The clients loved it because it got them out of the house.
Yeah.
Because some people don't like, I had some clients who couldn't figure out Zoom and all. I mean, it's something.
I've never done Zoom. I've never put it on anything. I do fine on Skype. So anything that I've got that I need to do with anybody else is done on Skype. Yeah. Otherwise it doesn't get done.
I mean, it was just, But I mean, I got creative with that.
Speaking
And
of
it worked.
Skype, when we go back, go ahead.
But I mean, I just, for these state employees to be 4 years into it,
It's
they
ridiculous.
should not still be working at home.
No, they should not.
They
You're
absolutely
not getting the full potential out of their work.
You know what it
No.
is? You know what it reminds me of? A mama nursing a kid who's 5 years
Mhm.
old.
Oh, don't.
So what is the difference
You'll
here?
make me mad. That makes
Bunch
me
of
so angry.
overgrown babies.
Yes.
That's what we've nurtured. That's what we've
therapy.
got.
That's somebody needing therapy in itself.
That's
right there.
what
that's
we-
a problem.
That's
Yeah.
why we've got such overgrown babies working in our government.
Well, I think it's. I hate to use the E word, entitlement, but I mean,
Entitlements.
I mean, but
Yeah.
how much productivity is getting done at home? Just think all the other things that's getting done. Or, like I said, one of my Zoom calls, a person wasn't even at home, Rayford. They were at a store in the.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going back to Skype real quick, have you been getting a lot of crazy invitations on Skype?
I don't know. My stuff is blocked immediately.
Well, yeah, I do that too, but I just got one like this morning. Hello, Lee. Nice to meet you, from some Derek Harry. But I've been getting a lot of them lately. I don't know. Here's another one from a Crystal. Crystal Robertson wants to connect with you. Now, all of a sudden, Skype is
I
going
don't
crazy.
think I've got. Let me check mine.
Then I have another one, live, semicolon, CID. And then it goes with this long number saying waiting for live. I mean, who sends me that? What is going on with Skype?
I just checked mine with you.
It's got to be with you because I don't have anything on my Skype.
Maybe they like me better.
Apparently they do. Maybe they know me.
No, it's been really crazy.
Yeah, no, I just got.
Well,
you
let's
guys
talk
on
about
here.
the big news out of Georgia yesterday.
Oh
Georgia.
yeah, do
What's
it.
in
I was
Georgia?
waiting for you to bring that up.
Bonnie Willis and all her assistant DAs in her office no longer have the authority to proceed with the Trump
Persecution.
indictment and the prosecution. Right.
Persecution.
Yes. It says that Willis and her assistant DAs work in her office now have no authority to proceed because of the appearance of impropriety. Did we not say that 3-4 months
Yeah.
ago?
Yes. It
Yes.
was not just the appearance of, it
like
was
1,
impropriety.
2, 3.
I think it's Mike 3. You talked to him in a
Yes.
while.
We
He
talked to him
called
yesterday.
last
You were
night.
gone,
Oh,
I guess.
So you were gone.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, what's up?
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Merry Christmas,
Mike.
Hey,
almost.
Merry Christmas, Mike. Yeah.
Hey, Merry Christmas, almost.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, speak on what you were talking about with companies and Skype and Zoom calls. You know, the real reason why they do that is because, just like everybody else during the pandemic, when they went through these policies, they see how much money they were saving throughout all industries. So if it makes dollars, it makes sense to them. They pretty much disregard everything else as far as quality of service or anything like that.
Well,
Because
I got a
they're
problem with that
participating.
analysis for just a second. When you're talking about government employees, that did not stop the government from keeping the lights on in federal buildings, in state buildings across this country. They did not take that into account. They just said, oh, it's less expensive for whatever reason they think. I don't believe it. I would have to be shown to keep somebody working at home instead of what? Paying them to come to work? What is the difference? They get the same pay, right?
Well, the lights be on, but then you could turn the lights off on most sections. Let's say you got a big warehouse of computers, some people working. And we even practiced even way back in 2000, when certain sections of the building is not being used, you turn the lights off. If like half or 3/4 of the computers are turned off, you're saving a lot of money.
Uh-huh. You're talking about power wise for the electricity.
Yeah, like
Okay, how about all
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
other expenses associated with that building? You can't turn the air conditioning off. You can't turn the heat
you
off.
can, yeah, but you're saving at least that much. And then some of these companies and corporations are paying for like childcare and XYZ, per diem for gas, travel. There's a lot of expenses associated with it that's tacked on, not just like simple electricity.
Now, if they're working at home, and they're having to go somewhere else, they're still going to get paid per diem to go to this other location, right?
If they're working from home and they have to go somewhere else, it's like go away.
Well,
Yeah,
I
they
mean, if
get travel.
you say they're being paid per diem if they're working at the company, if they're working at headquarters,
Yeah.
what kind of per diem
Yeah.
do they pay if they're working assigned to work?
So it really depends on the job. Say like some jobs are just like in your office, and there's per diem. Most per diems are paid like between your home and to the office building itself.
I've never heard of that.
Like
Not to go from your house to work. I mean, they never paid me to go from my home to work. I was part of the job.
Yeah, I mean,
we're not allowed to claim
even as
that.
a security guard, here locally, I got paid per diem. Paid like say from my house traveling down to Wilmington.
Well, there's a different story. If you have to go to Wilmington, that's not in your immediate area.
But a lot of these workers, federal workers, they're working in that same distance. You know, they're not like in the same city sometimes.
I know a lot of Marines who are decided to live in places like, I don't know, Hampstead. Why? Because their spouse was working in Wilmington, and the travel time, either driving from Jacksonville to Wilmington or driving from Hampstead to Camp Lejeune and then to Wilmington, was cheaper than driving all the way from just Jacksonville. So, but do you think? I don't know of any of those individuals.
Well, I don't think any Marines would get per diem.
Right. Or the spouses who were working in Wilmington, they didn't get paid to drive to Wilmington to work unless it was something really weird. If they decided to work I mean, I lived in Jacksonville for a while and worked in Wilmington. I got nothing to go back and forth. That was on me. That was my choice.
Yeah, it depends on your job, but there are some government jobs to where, and there's a lot of them to where you will get per diem, or there's civilian jobs that'll do that as well, where you get per diem traveling back and forth.
Well, they should stop that immediately. That's on the company. That was dumb.
Yeah, I mean that's been done all over the place.
Yeah, but being done is not making it right. That's just dumb. It's still dumb.
Yeah, but once you offer it, and, it is what it is.
Yeah,
then they pay for like child care and all this other stuff and stuff. So and it's like they do that recruitment tools and enticement tools to get people to get the best from certain regions into their jobs and stuff like that. Like it's whole web. That's the reason why they do that type of stuff. But when you factor all that in, and even if you work that out, and just like the simple stuff like the electric at the business itself.
Do you think this is efficient? Do you think these people are producing as much from their homes as they would be if they were in their work environment where they're supposed to be? Do you think that they are actually there giving 100% of their?
From the experiences that I never had a problem with it.
Well, you never had a problem with it, but I don't know what other experiences you've had. But people who work from their home on a daily basis, the typical 9-to-5er, I don't know what their schedules are, but the typical 9-to-5er, do you think that they produce as much during that 9-to-5 shift that they're working from their homes as they produce when they were working 9-to-5 at their place of employment?
Without any further information, I really can't judge that, to be honest.
The question was calling for an opinion. Do you really seriously believe that a person who is on the clock from 9-to-5 from home is really working that 9-to-5 time period?
All right. So,
human nature, do you think that they would be?
Yes. So, based on my opinion, my personal opinion, and from my experiences, right, that's what we gather our opinions off of.
Okay. I
believe they would because all my experience has been good.
Well, good.
Well, I will say, my people I deal with are state employees. They work for Department of Health and Human Services. Okay, that's DHHS up in Raleigh, and they have admitted that they have done other things during their quote work day that is not work related. Which is because one time I had a question why I needed an answer to something right away. And they said, sorry, I went to the movies. Okay, that's a problem. Because if you were sitting in your office right there in downtown Raleigh, you wouldn't be going to movies during the workday because people would know. So, I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, these are people, this is state government people I'm talking about. They work for the Department of Health and Human Services.
Mhm.
They're the ones been sitting home for 4 years now. Not, and I'm here to tell you, I am telling you, work is not the same as if they were sitting in their offices, period.
Yeah.
You know, if they're sitting there working from home, there's so many distractions.
Oh, yeah.
Breaking news on TV, so they put down their laptop
The
and
soap
go
opera
watching
comes
the TV. A soap opera comes on. Are they going to catch a show that aired last night that they missed? Oh, I'll just watch this
Yeah,
while
they're
I'm
binge
sitting here at
watching.
my
Yeah,
laptop.
we do have.
I mean, it's a
Mm-mm.
proven fact that workers are less productive working from
And
home.
here's the other thing: do you think there's a problem here with equality? If you've got a guy who is working the assembly line at Ford or GM or whatever,
Right.
they can't work from home, right? He's on the assembly line building cars. He ain't no way he can do that from his house. Do you think it's fair for him to have to come in and do the drudge work of working on a car, building a car, when other people are sitting at home and claiming they're doing their work from home?
Well, here's another
That's the
thing.
job. That's the job you chose. You got the freedom to choose what job you want to work.
Uh-huh.
Well, this is another thing when you're talking about people still working at home. You know they're being less productive. So less work is being done and taken care of, but yet you're still operating, which means if you bring everybody back to the building, to the actual workplace, you could probably have enough. You could probably let some people go and cut down expenses.
Uh-huh. And people
Because-
need to become aware of that.
That's right.
If they decide to, let's say they get a Ronald Reagan there as the boss of that entire corporation and decides, not doing this anymore. If y'all can't get with the program, see ya, don't want to be ya, and then
Right.
replaces all of them with people that will come to work, produce more,
That's
and
right.
have fewer of them.
That's right.
People are screwing themselves by doing this kind of
They
stuff.
are. I mean, I agreed during COVID. I didn't have
Well,
a problem with that.
that's the way it was.
But it's over with. Get back to work.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
Let's
over.
just go back to work.
Oh,
And things like telehealth and
That's
all
crazy
all
to
these
me.
services, they existed before COVID as well.
well, for
So we
certain
had a-
conditions they did, and I agree. Right now they exist for another excuse because we can't get a medical expert in here to work in this market, so we're going to have to go outside, and we're going to have to get this guy and then out in California to help you. Oh, he doesn't come to work until noon our time, so y'all just have to wait.
Now, and I will say there are some work from home jobs, is what I'm going to call them, that they have a computer system where they can tell
Right.
whether they're on their computer or not. Now, those I'm cool with because they can track what you're doing. Those,
Why should they have to?
Well, I mean,
You can look across the room and say,
Because
"Hey,
it-
Joe's over there doing his work."
I agree, but I mean, some jobs, you could go live in London and work,
But
and I'm
even
okay
in
with
the
that.
building-
Yeah.
Even in the building, that technology is used in the building as well.
I know it is, just to track them.
Well, in state government, it ain't
Yeah.
always, but I
Well,
hear you. I hear you. on
I
that.
know
Yeah.
family that has a job that they go into
It's
the
just a
job,
sign.
but I also know that a couple days a week they're working from home. And I won't say that 8 to 5 is all sitting there on the computer. Sometimes it's like I need to run to the store, take the dog to the vet. I mean, it happens. That's natural.
Well, you get up
You
at work and you
less-
clock out and go do it.
Right. And as far as like my daughter has always had an at home, she's not working right now, but she's always had a remote job. And all you have to do is sign on to your computer and stay active. But, if you need to go do this or that, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying she did, but I'm just saying that,
The
You can
opportunities for
see-
deception are there.
yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. All right, Mike, got to run. Thank you, sir.
I'm glad you
Thanks,
called me. I haven't
Mike.
talked to
Yeah,
you in a
appreciate
while.
it. Yeah. Christmas is a time to celebrate the birth of Christ. We all know that. Sometimes we forget it, and sometimes we don't admit it. It's when, for many, a time to celebrate with family is upon us. Whether your family is right here in town or they're halfway across the country, you will still celebrate the season for all the right reasons, one way or the other. One part of celebrating is good food. Anybody disagree with that?
No, can
If you do, go look in my refrigerator in there.
Look at mine today after yesterday. I went shopping.
Jacksonville's only waterfront restaurant, Marina Cafe, is happy to help you have fun on this joyous of occasions. It's where the locals can break bread with the wonderful men and women of our armed forces who may be a little too far from home and not have enough leave to get a great meal. But you can rest assured that while it might not be mom's home cooking, the folks at Captain Bob Beck's Marina Cafe will prepare a meal you'll not be forgetting. Remember, there are no strangers at Marina Cafe, whether it's your first visit or whether you're a regular there. Everyone is welcome. Stop in. It's casual. Have a chat with Joe Jack, the resident parrot. Stroll the waterfront. After the first time, you're sure to return. And if you see somebody that you haven't seen before, or maybe somebody more likely that you haven't seen in quite some time, reintroduce yourselves. Sit down, have a chat, have dinner, have lunch. Captain Bob Beck's Marina Cafe alongside the bridge on Marine Boulevard in downtown Jacksonville. And don't forget, if you're like so many people out there, you haven't gotten that gift yet because you're just still up in the air about what to get. Everybody likes good food. Give them a gift certificate to Marina Cafe. They're available. Just ask. Walk in and ask. You want to give a gift certificate to anybody? Do it. Marina Cafe, right on the waterfront in downtown Jacksonville on Marine Boulevard, right there at the foot of the bridge. Merry Christmas to all from Captain Beck's friendliest of crews. Those guys in there are always happy.
They are always. And you can even go in there when it's very, very busy and your service is quick.
Yeah.
You never have a long waiting time.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's the good thing. And you're greeted when you walk through the door. Hey, how are you?
I could just taste those warm, those hot, crispy fries right now.
I'm telling you what, yeah.
You're going to make me hungry because I love
Yeah,
crispy
my
fries.
stomach don't do it.
When I order them, when I used to work downtown, and
Yes.
I'd order over the phone.
Right.
Run by and pick them up because I know they'd be ready. And the time
Yeah,
I
you
call
were
and
right
the time
across
I
the street.
yeah,
Yeah.
time that I would place the order, walk out the door, get there, and it was ready. I had my big old hot bowl of clam chowder. If y'all haven't had that clam chowder, you need to try it. Clam chowder and French fries on the side. Yum.
Sounds
And order
so
them extra
good.
crispy. Don't order them extra crispy. Order them burned. They know what you're talking about, and they'll all do it my way. I like to hear the snap when I bite into it. It's almost like a potato chip, but better, much more better.
Yum.
It's good stuff out there.
Oh,
Y'all got a
yeah.
driver's license?
Yes.
You got the smart driver's license or whatever they call it?
No, I don't.
You better get it.
I know it.
What's that?
We talked
The
about
one
that
with
a
the
couple
star
Oh,
on
weeks
it?
I
ago.
have that. I already have
Okay.
that because I travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about that a
Because-
couple weeks
And
ago.
next year when you decide you got to drive, you won't be able to.
Or you fly, you have to have that.
No,
special-
you
I'm
have a
talking for
passport
those
too.
without passports. You can't use your driver's
and as
license
of May
anymore.
next year.
Mhm.
Right.
Is your driver's license expiring soon, Kelly?
Mine is. I'm glad you reminded me. I need to renew it. It's got till May, but I already got my thing saying I could do it. But one of my employees did it. Have you seen the new licenses?
Nope.
Oh man, I have to. I'm going to go ahead and renew mine, and I'll show it to
Oh,
you.
we're glad.
When
What about yours? You just look and say, "Uh-oh, I don't know whether mine's good or
Well,
not."
my employee brought her in. We were laughing
I
about
think
it.
mine's-
She thought it was fake at first. She said, "Do you think this thing is real?" Like, it is. I don't know who came up with this idea. If they were drunk when they said, "Let's do it." I mean, the new licenses look
I sprayed us this morning.
okay. What in the world? She's pulling out cans of stuff out of her purse.
She's opening her purse, her
What is
suitcase over here.
happening over here?
First thing she pulls out is a
It's
can of
giant can of
static
Static
guard.
So
Yeah,
we'd
we
go
get-
touch something, we'd get
We would
zapped.
zap. It hurts.
So I
That's
brought that in this
Yeah,
morning.
when
I
you
got
got
thinking
hot,
about
no.
it last
Mhm.
night.
Is that new meaning to hot buns?
And
Yes.
it was like,
Because when I would hit that over there, the phone thing, it
when
would
I
shock
saw
me.
her
It
jump
hurt me.
yesterday,
Yeah, it
I said,
hurts.
"Did you get shocked?" She said, "Yes." And I said, "Okay." And when I was at the store yesterday, I thought about the static
So
guard.
did you spray her backside when she came in?
No,
No,
but
I
I
needed
sprayed
to,
all the
yeah.
both our chairs.
We
Okay,
didn't
let me
spray
see.
mine.
You got a
You
new
just-
license? Let me see yours and see if it looks like
Mine is
Bianca's.
just a regular.
No, they look different from that now.
Oh, mine's 27,
Do you have
2027.
a
Oh, yeah.
star in the upper right corner?
No,
No,
she don't.
this is
This
an
is-
old license.
You
Okay,
better get a
then
new
your
one.
problem is you might want to go get it because
Mhm.
you won't be able to drive aboard Camp Lejeune as of
I don't
May.
get to drive on there now.
You do if you're going to that golf thing.
You better get one, Lee.
Uh-huh.
I've had
When,
one.
before
You-
next year, I will.
But I've got to get
Well-
a new license. and it's going to be that new style, Rayford. And
Okay.
it does
Well,
look. I want to know who came up with this. Somebody
Well,
tell me.
You might want to take a look at your driver's license to make sure it's not already expired. You're supposed to get something in the mail to tell you.
6 months.
However,
I got mine 6 months. in advance.
some of y'all
Mhm.
who have moved and didn't get smart enough to go change your address with the DMV,
Mhm.
your license may have already expired.
Well, I haven't changed my address.
I understand, but some of y'all
Yeah.
out there do that. We know this is a mobile community, right?
I'll show you why I got challenged every time I went to vote.
Your hair. Yeah. It's
I
her
mean-
hair.
Well,
Yeah.
it just changes all the time.
But people
You're
change
a
their
woman.
hair. I mean,
Well,
men put facial
yeah,
hair.
but this
take it off.
picture's
I mean,
also like 10 years old.
And I know I'm about to.
15
I
years
just
old.
was sitting here thinking, if I renew it online, like it says, it's going to use my same photo.
Yeah,
See,
it
and
was-
that's
I'm not
what
a
I
fan
did.
of, but-
But the way they had changed it, what they were supposed to be doing is you can apply for it online, but then you had to go to a DMV within a certain amount of time and let them take your new picture. And it's Chris Marks, but they weren't doing it. I was just
I
renewing
hope
it
so,
online.
'cause I don't like my idea.
So this is the same picture from
My hair looked
quite a while
rough.
ago. But
Well,
that's my natural color.
Let me give you some good news for you folks who have been complaining about the going to the examiners and all that sort of good stuff. They got 2 new ones coming into work in Jacksonville.
DMVs or license plates?
No, at the driver's license office.
Oh,
Like
Driver's
DMVs, like, okay,
license
thank
office.
God.
They got
Yes,
2 more coming
Lord.
in there. You can you need to get in there. Holiday license checking stations are going to be out and enforced. You know that. The cops are going to be on the roads.
Yeah.
Well, we
And
have
if you happen to have an expired driver's license, they won't let you drive away after they give you the ticket.
you can go online and apply
Well,
and then
you
just
can.
download the paperwork.
You can if you didn't do it the last time.
Right.
You cannot do it 2 times in a row.
Right.
You cannot
I've
renew
never done it online.
Renew it
Yeah.
online 2 times in a row.
No, why?
All right. So you're going to get a ticket for driving without a license
Mhm.
if you pull up to a road checking station and yours is expired, and an additional charge of failing to file a change of address. All right.
How I
That's my
didn't
way
know
of
people got
scaring you.
charged with that.
Well, they can.
Oh, that's very cool.
There's some good news embedded in this when you get a license here in Onslow County. They have 2 new additional examiners. Yeah, I know. It's about time. New Bern, Kinston, and Morehead city offices each have 1 new examiner. There are about, I don't know, a dozen or more statewide
Mhm.
or in Eastern North Carolina. While your wait time should be shorter, there are some things you can do to make sure your experience is better than before. Chris, don't hang up. We'll be with you in just a second. Renew early. Don't wait until the last minute, as Kelly is not going to do. If the
No.
line is really long on the day that you initially pick,
Mhm.
no fear.
Make
You
an
can-
appointment.
You can try a different day and time. If you did not choose to renew online last time, this would be a good time to do so. It's easy. There are some restrictions, of course, and you can go to the new NCDMV website to see if you've done something that requires you to renew in person. If your license is suspended for whatever reason, you're not going to be able to do it online. Here's a good one. Make an appointment, as you mentioned, for a morning appointment. A morning appointment.
A morning.
9 to noon, up to 90 days before your license expires. Make the appointment as soon as you can, just in case something comes up. Full-time offices accept walk-ins from noon until 5 weekdays. Noon until 5, you can walk in. Check the DMV website to make sure you bring the required documentation for your desired service. One frequently forgotten item is a printed hard copy document proving liability insurance.
Yes.
Customers still have time to get their real ID, as the federal implementation date requiring a real ID to fly commercially or to visit federal, military, and nuclear facilities is May 7th of next year. A real ID is a North Carolina driver's license has a gold star in the top. Okay, those are some tips for you. Hey, Chris, what's
Good morning, Rayford. That's a great subject. I just had to get mine renewed in December. A couple of things. First off, definitely make the appointment.
Oh, yeah.
Because I walked in there, and this was before the new hour changes. I walked in at 7:15. there was already every seat taken. They're waiting out the door.
I'll say bye-bye.
I walk in. This lady walks out and goes, does anybody have an appointment? And I went, I do. You moved right to the front of the line.
Oh, yeah. You just ticked off a bunch of people in front of you and said, honey, why didn't we do that?
Yeah, well, yeah, they're probably also ones that probably didn't know that I was going to be doing Reese Across America.
Yeah.
May not have been so nice this year. But wonderful subject. By the way, also, this part people probably weren't going to like because I didn't personally like it. So the rates have gone up on it because of the new star.
Yeah, buddy.
But now your license is somewhat shaded in black and white. So if you like the old color ones with all the bright and stuff,
Nope.
You're not going to get it.
Well, so you have one of those new ones. Like my employee, I'm like, she legit thought it was fake at first when she brought him in the office. It looks weird. It's weird looking.
It doesn't look like the old North Carolina
not at all.
license. But and then you'll also, so when you get it done before they mail it to you, they give you a paper one.
Yeah.
That has your picture on it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you don't walk out actually with the new license.
You know why they've been mailing those for quite some time, right? You know what the purpose is? Because there are individuals, and I will just call them the illegal sections out there, who will go around and find an address that is nobody there, nobody's living in it, an abandoned house, and they will use that as their address when they go into the driver's license office. And then, of course, today, it comes bouncing back to them, and you don't get a driver's license. If you were doing it all in person before, and they just gave you the license, you'd be driving all over everywhere, and nobody would know that you did not legally live at that address. So the purpose is to make sure, DMV makes sure that you live where you say that you live. And the only way to do that is either send a cop by to check you or mail it to you. It's cheaper to mail it.
Makes sense, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, why anybody doesn't want one, a new driver's license with the star in it, because it's required. And it seems like it's going to be a helpful thing to me. But one other thing on ID cards, just for the military, since Live and Local Real Talk broke about Reach Across America and my group, here's a new one that's going to break for you on your station for military and dependents. By December 6th, they're required to have the new military ID.
Uh-huh. Wow.
And that is, I don't know. I got mine, and they said, "Oh yeah, good thing you're getting it now because we're going to announce it in the spring." Oops, it's not winter yet. Okay, welcome to the exclusive on Live and Local Real Talk.
There you go. So, what's the new ID different? How different is it?
Not really totally different, but it's still color and it still looks like a military ID. But it's something that they're instituting for some. I'm sorry. That was December or last month that I got it redone. So the mind right now is just concentrating on Reese. So.
I understand.
But anyway, speaking of that, we had our latest donor, Chris Barrett, and took advantage of it.
Yes.
Yeah,
She's a good one.
Yeah, she's very sweet lady. But so I also want to point something out to your listeners. On my daily Facebook posts, there's a direct link to my page. I'll not confuse you with any other group that may pop up when you go to, for example, if you were to Google Reach Across America Jacksonville, it's gonna show you a different group than mine. Just go to the top eyeglass bar and type in NC0611. But if you click on my Facebook, which is Chris Marks with the sunrise or the sunset, Rayford and Lee, thank you for posting that on your Facebook page. That'll take you right to the link. then just custom order the 2. I promise you, it will get you the 5 for $34.
Got it.
Yes, I will definitely do that this weekend, Chris. And like Chris and I were talking, and he's trying to get National to set it up correctly. But for anybody that just goes to Reese Across America and you put in the location Jacksonville, it gives you a different organization,
Yep.
which that's their prerogative. But to get to Chris's, you've got to do a maneuvering if you don't use his link. And a lot of people were calling me or sending me messages. How do I get to his link? So he's working on that with National to get his listed too.
And I think National should get his list.
Yes.
It should be.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I know in the past,
you,
like
Kelly.
when I was working with the Vietnam Veterans Association raising money for reefs, when you would go into the national website and you would bring up the location, the Coastal Carolina Veterans Cemetery, it would give you 2 different links,
Mhm.
2 different organizations, which one that you wanted to contribute to. And of course, I was contributing to the Vietnam Memorial Association because that's who I was working with. But it is confusing. We talked about that yesterday, but he's trying to get that straightened out. But we'll just keep posting his link.
Okay, now where if I go on to what is it, Facebook that you say, and just punch in NC 0611?
No.
No.
Well, no, you'll have, so if you go to Facebook and look up Chris Marks,
Okay,
and
gotcha.
until I can delete my other 2 that my son set up, mine just has, it's a picture of a sunset or a sunrise, depending if you're a morning or night person. And you'll see Reese Across America. I also have a group called Reese Honoring Our Fallen Veterans. And that group, if you look under groups and then look for Reese Honoring Our Fallen Veterans, that's my site.
Okay.
And when I say my site, I just created it. I call it our site because it's for all of us.
Here's what, folks, I'm doing this so to make it as simple for the non-Facebookers as like me out there.
Hey,
You got a Facebook account. You go to your Facebook account and find the bar up there, wherever yours is, that says search, and punch in Chris Marks. That's CHRIS, second word, MARKS. And then when you click on it, mine comes up, the first person up there, and it's got a sunrise. It's got something over the ocean. If it's along our coast, and it's most of our coast, you will know that that is a sunrise. You got it? And then you
Correct.
click on view profile.
we'll just
And then you
keep
see a guy,
posting it,
guy with
yes.
his mouth wide open, running, breathing deeply. Is that about it? And then where do I punch in at that point in time, NC 0611?
Oh, I'll figure that one out, Rayford, because
okay.
I do a daily post on it. But if they just go to following, as people can do for Live and Local Real Talk, which is where folks, if you're listening, these people are givers. They're giving me time almost every day to talk about this.
That's what we want to do.
But if you just go to following, you'll see my posts, and they're done daily. And just you read the email. Don't have to read the whole thing. Just look for the blue highlighted website. Click on that. That's where it'll take you directly to my site. But if you go to Reese Across America, Jacksonville in Google, and you hit Jacksonville, the very top line, there's a little eyeglass. Click on that and type in NC 0611.
See, right now, I just went on there and I went to location. And of course, I put in Coastal Veterans Cemetery, and it automatically took me to the other one, which is the NCCVCJ, which is the central out of Cherry Point. They're the ones that have been working so hard to fundraise for Jacksonville. So, and that's where a lot of people get confused.
Yep. Well, that's what I'm trying to unconfuse here. And we got to do it for people like me, not
Yeah.
for people who are the other group, the Facebook.
Tech savvy.
Right.
Yeah. Tech and Facebook are 2 different things.
Yeah, true.
I do a lot of tech stuff, but I don't do Facebook stuff. So for the Facebook fanatics out there, I'm sure you understand everything that's happening here. But when all these buttons push up, I got Chris Marks. I got him running somewhere in some event. My Dad, My Hero event. where he was lucky number 13. I got that now, NC0611. I don't have any place to put that. So you'll figure it out and you'll let me get back to me, won't you?
Yes, and the other option, and I got to do some this morning, is you want me to meet you somewhere, like I met Theo at the Richlands Piggly Wiggly, pick up the cash. I will do all the work. Actually, Kathy will do the paperwork. I'll do the input on the page, and you will get credit for it. If you need a receipt, as a business told me yesterday, I get you the receipt. I get you a W-9. If you write a check, and we're on a time frame, and that's the only problem, is if you write it to Race Across America, it may not get there in time. If you write it to me, I'll put it on my credit card. And most people, I'll take your word for it, and I'll just do it ahead of time. I'm willing to do that. I'll take a chance.
Okay.
So just give me a call at 910-389-8698. And Leah's offered to make herself available for you to contact her. We'll contact me, and we'll get the wreath on the gravesite.
That's the good thing to do. All right.
Whatever it takes.
Happy weekend.
Same to you, sir. Have a great one.
You too. Thank you so much for your support again.
Talk to you next week.
Thank you, Chris.
All right.
Okay.
If I can get it done,
I'm
once I'm
going
able to get it done, I will walk y'all through it again.
I'm going to get the direct link for Chris's page and post it up there.
You know, we got a lot of people, including especially some of the high and mighty, most powerful people in the world, they think. They think a lot of themselves. They think they've been lied to, and shame on our government for lying to them. Well, they were lied to.
Jennifer. Well, we're talking about the ones dating back all the way to 2021 that were asked to keep it a secret about a certain president's.
Nope.
No, you're not talking about
No, you're
that?
just trying to get around me, and you're not going to get there.
Okay. Go with it.
and these people who were lied to, and they're screaming and hollering, carrying on. Oh, poor babies. Y'all need to grow up. Let's see who this is.
It's Jennifer, I think. I have to go.
Yes,
I have to go to a
Jennifer.
training.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good morning. How are y'all?
I'll be fine. How y'all up there in the hills of Tennessee?
We are fine. I was calling in. I told Terry yesterday that I was going to call in and mention it, and it's just perfect that Chris had called in. But I was going to put in about the driver's license too. But anyway, while it's on my mind, on Race America. Yesterday, Terry and I got something to drink, and the lady said, "Would you like to round up for?" I don't know. I think their money was going to ALS, and but most of them, I go to the grocery store. Would you like to round up your change for the children, or
Right.
It's always something. The foot, And I was wondering how I don't know how hard it would be, but I thought about that on Race Across America, especially in Onslow County, where y'all are in it's a military community and stuff. And I thought, well, maybe if he could get with a few of, even if it was, I don't know. I don't know how hard that is. But
I can tell you, Jennifer,
surely if
he's
they
already
can-
started that.
Has he?
And I
Oh,
think,
has
if
he?
I'm not mistaken, if Chris, if you have a chance to call back after weather, I think he's got some kind of arrangement with the Red Robin restaurant here at the mall on a certain day.
Okay.
If you mention Reese Across America, they're going to take 20% of their sales
Oh, good.
for that day and donate.
Good. Okay. Because I thought, well, that change adds up,
Sure
and
does.
even if all you're doing is rounding up to the nearest dollar, if only half of the people do it, that's going to add up. And so that was just mine and Terry's take on that. And then I know you were talking about the driver's license. When Terry and I went to get ours up here, see, in Tennessee, it's DMV/Homeland Security. I had to near about give them DNA. They don't joke at all. I had to have a copy of I had to have a copy of my birth certificate, had to have my social security card, had to have my marriage certificate
Whoa.
showing that I was,
You still got one of those?
I do.
Oh,
I do.
Lord.
And
I'm in
and
trouble.
on Terry, bless his heart, on Terry, he didn't have he didn't have his birth certificate, security card. Now his birth certificate, Hanover, and they mailed me a copy of his birth certificate. But his social security card, I just went to the office here in Kingsport, to the Social Security office, and they did that and sent us a copy. But they give you a paper driver's license, and then they mail you your real one,
Right,
in the mail, and it's got the star and everything on it. But yeah, and see, I was born in Kingsport, so he said, because I told him, I said, Lord, I don't have any of that stuff. I thought I could just come in. I've got a driver's license. And he said, no, ma'am. And I knew I'd have to have proof of where we lived and stuff. So I had bills and stuff. But he, because I was born, I wasn't obviously born a blizzard. So then I had to show proof that I married a blizzard. So yeah, it was a big process. Big process. And now it was very streamlined. It didn't take us long at all. You go in there and sign in
as
on
long as you got as long as you got all the boxes checked and you got all the paperwork to prove it, you can go through it. The problem is, how many people do that when they go in? Not many.
Right.
They don't check in advance.
And I didn't know. And so when they called my number, and I went up there, and the man told me, I said, okay, honey, I said, and go ahead. And that next number after me, you can go ahead and knock him off the board. I said, because he is my husband, and he doesn't have this stuff either. And so we left, when I got what I needed, went right to the courthouse was right close to where it was. So I just went over, and because I knew I didn't have my birth certificate, but I did have my marriage license. So I got a copy of it, got marriage license, went back next day, easy peasy, and had to wait on Terry's, of course. But yeah, they were like, nope.
With all of this hoopla that we Americans are having to jump through, and supposedly you would think that there would not be an illegal alien with a driver's license anywhere in this country, but guess what? They got them, and they get them semi-legally, because the states, like California, they make exceptions for illegal aliens. So the next time you have to do something like that, and you got to do hoops, just get in your van, drive on down to El Paso, Texas, cross over into Mexico, go to Guadalajara, buy a case of beer, and come on back into Texas illegally and claim you don't have no ID. And they said, come on through.
Back
then they'll give you one.
I was trying to jump through every hoop that was put in front of me to try and get some help. I got into a very heated discussion with a congressional aide. And I told him, I said, but you know what? I said, if I rolled up my pant legs, went down there and waded back across that blooming river, I said, I'd have all kinds of help.
You would.
And he got so mad at me.
Wow.
He was very, very ugly. And I hung up on him and said, just forget it, because I talked to everybody from Onslow County to Raleigh to Washington, D.C.
Well, did you tell him to bless your heart? Or either bless your heart or kiss your grits? Which did you do? I knew you did one of them.
I hung up before I said anything, because it would have probably been that up a notch or two. And I didn't need to do that. I was trying to have a little bit of dignity when I was talking to him. But yeah, He kept telling me, "Well, man, you just don't understand. There is nothing there is no program in North Carolina." I said, "That's why I'm calling you. I'm trying to advocate for the people that there needs to be a program." And well, you just don't understand. And I said, "Well, no, you don't."
That's the problem. I don't understand
said-
it. You can't explain it to me. So let's get on with the
"Hold
program.
my pant legs up.
Give me somebody who
Way
can.
to cross that river, you give me something."
Yeah.
And oh, buddy, he was hot, but that's all
Well,
right.
he'll get over it.
But anywho, that was just my two little ideas about rounding up your change. And then to tell you up here, I thought I was going to have to give DNA, firstborn's blood, and everything, the driver's license, but I got it.
Well, that's
y'all
good.
have a good day. Yeah.
Welcome to being
Y'all
legal.
have a good day.
You
Bye-bye,
too.
That's
Jennifer.
right. I'm legal all the way.
All right,
Bye.
good.
Oh, my goodness gracious. My cousins are cool, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just adore
The weekend
Jennifer.
marine forecast brought to you by Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville. The 2024 presidential election, it's 6 weeks old. But the results are still bringing out the absolute best and mostly the worst in a lot of people.
Yeah.
Is getting mad all that bad when we're talking about the candidates we supported and they lost? Is it okay to get mad? It's just venting, right? It's okay to vent. It lowers your blood pressure, if you just got something to complain about. Well, I changed that word in a hurry. If you're one of those people who just cannot let it go, have you looked in a mirror and said, how long am I going to be this mad all the time, day in and day out? Am I ever going to get over this? Am I just going to let this walk on by? Might not have been the outcome of an election. Maybe something else gets under your skin and you just can't get over it. You fester over it. You have nothing but nightmares over it. You can't get rid of the feeling. I know people that will keep coming back and coming back and coming back at you, still mad about something that was insignificant in the first place and only in their minds has gotten worse over years at times. Are there issues that have become so all-consuming, perhaps to the point that it interferes with the relationships you have with your friends, your colleagues, and especially your family? Do you feel bad and question whether maybe I'm overreacting? Maybe you are. If you blow up at people at events where you have no control, like a football game, it might be time to bite the bullet and seek the help of a counselor, a professional that will actually listen to you. Community Prevention Services, located at 918 Henderson Drive right here in Jacksonville, has counselors who will listen. They'll work with you to find a resolution. They're not going to judge you, and they won't share with anyone else anything that you talk about. Community Prevention Services accepts most insurance plans as well. Give them a call today to schedule some one-on-one time, 910-353-0972. 910-353-0972. Offshore today out to 20 nautical miles, winds out of the northwest, 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet, occasionally up to 6 feet, 2 to 3 near shore, sounds and rivers of moderate chop. Tomorrow, northerly winds 15 to 20, gusts to 30, seas 3 to 5, occasionally up to 6, 2 to 3 footers near shore, sounds and rivers choppy. Sunday, northerly winds 15 to 20, diminishing to 10 to 15 in the afternoon, gusts to 25, seas 3 to 5, only 2 feet near shore on Sunday, sounds and rivers choppy, diminishing to a moderate chop in the afternoon.
And today we're looking at partly sunny skies with a high near 54. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 33. Saturday, sunny with a high near 49 and winds gusting to 20 miles per hour. Saturday night, clear with a low of 21. Sunday, sunny with a high near 42 with Sunday night lows of 15. You're going to get a little.
It's frigid.
So dress warm.
Dress warm, take care of your plants. Wrap them up.
Yes.
You better wrap them up good
Cover your outdoor faucets.
and wrap up those faucets. Turn the water off if you got water going through a hose and
Mhm.
drain that hose.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're going to buy a new one.
I used to take rags and just put them around, wrap them around my faucets
That'll
until
help.
I bought the styrofoam.
The styrofoam
things,
ones are
but
cheap and easy.
yes, you can go to
And they
the
don't
big
get
box
soggy.
store that sells tools, etc.
Mhm.
And they're foam covers, and inside they have a thing where you put on the faucet, put the styrofoam up against the wall of your house,
Mhm.
and then pull this thing on the outside to tighten it up. It's so easy to do.
Now, if you've got water supplying an outbuilding like I have out here,
Yes.
runs underground, so it's okay out there, but it comes up out inside the building that's going to give you, and into the
Right.
spigot outside, and it's going to get down to 15 degrees. That stuff is going to freeze.
Exactly.
So today I will be turning the water off. I got a switch, a valve underneath the house that it does that. I just flip it down and it's done. So not a problem with any of that.
All right, Steve. Yes, and we used to have when we lived out at Catherine Lake, we also had the pump out there.
Yeah,
we
right.
had regular county water, but we also had,
Yeah, well, in a pump
the
house, you
well.
could put a light bulb out there.
and that's
next
what
to
we
the,
did. We would put a light
yeah,
bulb out
so.
there. So,
And Steve-O, what's up? Happy Friday.
oh, thank you, Lord.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good
Well, you're
morning.
having a good day so far.
So far.
It's been good.
I got
Yes.
I wanted to call in and share a little tip that I come across from the Millennial Gardener. I know you've watched him a few times.
I've seen him. He's pretty cool.
Yes.
He has seen a really good tip. He said he's got some fruit trees that he grows down there in Wilmington, orange trees and stuff like that.
I love watching him.
4 or 5 years, I think.
Let's back this up again. He's growing orange trees.
Fruit
Yeah,
trees.
oranges
And
and
oranges?
bananas and in Wilmington.
I've
all year
heard
long.
of
But what
it.
he does is,
Yeah.
and I'm sure he'll do it this weekend, is he takes and gets a set of incandescent Christmas lights, the C6, the bulbs that's about as big as your thumb.
Not the LEDs.
Not the LEDs, no, the incandescent.
Yes.
And they're actually cheaper, which is good. But he wraps his fruit trees with those C6 light bulbs, and then puts a cover over top of it, and the bulbs keep the tree warm.
I'm beginning to like that tip already.
Yep,
Yes.
it works for a lot of different things.
I've got probably about 30, 40 strings of those things that
There
I
you
don't
go.
use anymore.
There you go.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
When you told me this morning about the cold weather, it struck me. I said, I bet they didn't appreciate that tip.
Oh, absolutely. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
I watched him for a long time. He kept saying he's the East Coast of North Carolina. And I said, I bet he's from Wilmington. There was something about him. But I'm glad you said Wilmington because that's where I thought he was from.
I've recognized a couple of
Yes,
landmarks.
yeah. He's
some of the
really,
things.
I enjoy watching him.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I like him. He's a smart guy, especially when it comes to horticulture and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he changes his
But yes,
tune
I-
from time to time. The longer he stays there, the more acclimated to the region that he gets, and sometimes some of the initial stuff may have worked wherever he came from, but it wasn't working as well there. So he actually moved forward, and he improved, and he admitted it. He said some of that stuff that I used to do, I don't do anymore, and here's what I do now. That kind of thing.
Yeah. I think he was originally from Michigan or somewhere.
Yeah,
like that,
it was
so-
somewhere
so-
where it was around
Right.
from around these parts for sure.
Yeah. And those listening, just go on YouTube and look up the Millennial Gardener.
Oh, it's easy. He's
Yes.
he's good. He's got, and his tips are updated regularly. I'm talking about, it's not something that some of the stuff that you're seeing, if you see the most recent stuff, it's not like it's 10 years old.
Yeah, I
It deals
subscribe
with
to his
current
channel.
stuff.
Yes.
So that's good.
No
But other than that was my tip for today, and keep warm. I was sad to not see y'all at the brewery last weekend. They actually let me come inside.
Oh, did they?
Actually,
Well, I'll talk to Randy about that. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, you got some cold weather, Gary. You need to stay outside.
I think that was the day I went out of town to pick up my grand dogs. I
Yeah,
had like
I have
4
another issue.
dogs in the house.
Yep.
I was going to say I could have out in the cold, but the waitresses and the customers didn't care. for it.
No, they don't like it that much. You
I
just
would
turn
have
your-
demanded they brought you in.
Yeah, they would have. You just had to
Honestly,
turn your
it's
PA
the
up.
most. I was going to say it's the most scary events that I do is something like that. I had people literally sitting 3 feet away from me
Uh-huh.
while I was playing, eating dinner.
You mean within
And so
fork
the-
range?
Oh,
Right. And to not be too
could've
loud
gotten
in that
forked.
setting is extremely difficult.
Uh-huh.
I'm a loud person just by myself. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's
no.
plus I can see people's faces, and that's scary. That's the scariest thing to me when I play is if I can see the expressions on that makes me very nervous. You could
See,
put
we missed
1,000 people
out.
on me a bit.
We
you know.
could have gone in there and made so many faces.
Oh,
at
we
him.
had fun.
Yes.
I could have worn the Joe Biden mask in there for you.
It was a pretty good crowd turned out. I was surprised. They had a pretty good
Right.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Still had people waiting outside to get in.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, if you ever sit in that situation and you see a guy reaching into his front pocket to pull out his pocket knife, that's the time to turn your music down.
Well, they said I did pretty good. I was nervous going into it, but that small of an intimate setting is what I call it. It's difficult.
You've got that deep voice. I don't see where you can go wrong.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, it was all right. Like I say, it's just very intimidating to me. Definitely makes me put butterflies in my stomach when I'm in that smaller place that close to people.
I've I read the interview with Johnny Carson one time, decades ago, of course, and he said, every night I come out and I'm behind the curtain waiting to walk out, and he says, I feel so nervous that I feel like I want to throw up. I get the shakes before I come out on stage. And he'd been doing that for, 400, 500 years at that time. But can you imagine somebody like that still getting the heebie-jeebies before they show up on stage?
I've been across several people in playing music over the years that they do that. That's it don't matter if there's 5 people there. They will get sick before they play. Yeah. Their nerves get so bad. And for me, it's just the opposite. And I ain't never played in front of huge crowds, but I played like Seafood Festival and stuff like that where it's, 1,000 people or so. I don't get nervous at all doing that. That don't bother me a bit because I can't see their faces. It's just, it's like a blur, But 10 people sitting right in front of me. Oh my goodness, man! I'm like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs.
I understand. I never I don't mind getting on the radio because I can't see a soul out there, and I don't know who's listening, who's not listening. I usually find out if I say something wrong. I always find out, but later on, it doesn't take long. But that doesn't bother me. I just don't like to be in front of people. The reason this camera up here is as bad as it is because we have to have a camera up here or we won't get on Facebook or YouTube. Otherwise, I never would have a camera on.
Right.
I've done TV and I never liked TV. I did TV for enough.
As so many times.
Funny story for you. I did.
Okay.
I was a musical guest on a talk show, and I went in there, and they taped it, and I was in there, and I did my little manager, station or set manager, whatever you call them. She came out and she told me, she said, "Son, you did really good, but we want to do it again. You got to open your eyes." And I was like, "No, ma'am." She was like, "Well, we really need to open your eyes." And what they had, they want nobody in there really. There was camera crew and a few people,
Sure.
but they had monitors all the way around that you could see yourself.
Yeah.
Oh God.
There was probably 30 monitors up there that you could see yourself on.
Right.
And I said, "No, ma'am, I can't do that." I said, "But I can't put my sunglasses on and try it again." And so we did it with my sunglasses on.
So you sing with your eyes closed, do you?
I do.
Oh, we're going to have fun at him when I see him in person again, performing.
Yeah. I'm
on, hey, open your eyes.
Oh my God.
Oh, this will be fun.
Should never
I'm
say.
bad for it, especially with what I do because it does take a lot of concentration to play the drums with your feet, play guitar, and sing all at the same time. And so that's why a lot of times I'll close my eyes just because I'm doing 3 different things.
Yeah, the definition of a one-man band is you.
Is you?
You are the definition of a one-man band. That's that. You were one of the original one-man bands out there, and television stole that. They made reporters, photographers, producers, and their own camera people, their own audio. They did it all. That became what was known in the television news business as a one-man band because they did it all. Before that, they had a crew to do it. Then they got cheap.
Yep.
All
A
right.
lot of places did that over the last.
Yeah, you got that right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Steve.
Y'all have a blessed day.
You
too.
Bye. Christmas season is here.
Yes, it is.
Time of year when we like to get together, break bread, and exchange some gifts, right? Finding just the right present gets harder as the years go by. The older we get, the more realistic we become. The gift of planning ahead, planning for the future, is one of the most valuable gifts you can give your loved ones. Estate planning provides peace of mind, helps avoid those dreaded family conflicts, and ensures your wishes are honored during critical times. Right now, and remember, the time is drawing to an end. Right now, you can get a certificate that entitles the bearer to a basic North Carolina last will and testament prepared by Cheryl P. Colson under the supervision of attorney Samuel S. Popkin. It's valued at $300 with a 50% savings. If you wait too long, that goes away, and too long is approaching quickly. All documents can be securely filed with the North Carolina Secretary of State, the Onslow Clerk of Court, or the Register of Deeds as applicable. This offer does not cover complex estates or trust. The original numbered certificate must be presented at the first consultation. It's valid for 6 months after it's issued and is only valid for drafting and signing one will. It has no cash value and cannot be used for other legal services. That's the small print. What you need to remember, this is something that you can get now. You don't have to use it. You don't have to fill it out. You don't have to make an appointment to do anything, but it's only good for 6 months. So you've got the next 6 months after you buy this thing, this certificate, to get it filled out. But it's already paid for. Why wouldn't you just go ahead and get her done? For additional information, call the office of Samuel Popkin, attorney at law, 910-347-0100 or 252-647-6016. Those numbers again, 910-347-0100 or 252-647-6016. This is a legal advertisement brought to you by Samuel S. Popkin, attorney at law. The team there at the Popkin Law Firm, they want to wish you and your loved ones a wonderful holiday season filled with peace and joy.
That makes me want to break out in song. I'm not going to, though. Hey,
You're not going to?
No.
How about if I break out in song?
Go ahead. You go right ahead.
What kind of song should I break out in?
Oh.
How about if you just get tired of things and you just had about all you can take right there?
And I start to cry each time we meet. Walk on by.
There you go.
Walk on by.
Who's that?
That is,
Do, 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 do.
it's not Clark.
Wait
wait a minute. It's right about that time for Nancy Sinatra. No, who is that?
Dionne Warwick.
Why didn't I?
Dionne Warwick from 1964.
And I knew that.
Just walk on by.
I knew that.
So if you guys have
Why
just
did I?
about had it and you're just mad with yourself all the time, or you're mad with other people all the time, you're mad about this, you're mad about that, just walk on by.
That's what I do.
Get over it.
You learn. You learn after a while.
Yeah. The
When
older
you
we
go
get,
on
the older we get.
Social media and see garbage. Just scroll on by it. You don't have to read it.
And I'm going to give that advice to these journalists out there, including those at Fox News who've got their drawers in a wad.
Oh,
All right.
knickers in a knot.
The Pentagon lied to them.
Yes.
Poor babies. For quite a while, the Pentagon has claimed that there are 900 U.S. armed troops in Syria. That's wrong.
So how many?
There are 2,000.
Oh, I didn't see
And
that.
that's quite a few
2,000.
people. They're all upset about it. I'm not.
Does the
Not
Pentagon have
necessarily.
to tell us all the secrets?
Bingo. Personally, I would prefer that our enemies not know how many of our armed forces
I
are
agree.
standing watch anywhere.
I agree.
And if we know, then they
Then
will
our
know.
enemies know.
Especially
Right.
outside the United States. If those people are on duty outside the U.S., I don't want to know how many there are there. I mean, out of curiosity, and as a nosy person, I might,
Right.
but I should not know. Instead of revealing that we had fewer than half as many in Syria as we actually had there, I would have inflated. I wouldn't have said we got, knowing we had 2,000 there, I wouldn't have said we got 900. I would have said we got, 13,822.
Mike again. Well, isn't the news being a little pompous and thinking they need to know all the secrets?
Yes.
Y'all get over it.
An
Walk on by.
you ready for how this came about? An Army Public Affairs Secretary, a brigadier general, who was checking the actual numbers, found the discrepancy, and he decided, I'm going to tell the media all about it.
Do we know that's factual?
Yeah.
You would think a brigadier general, but
Why? Why is it relevant or important for everyone to know our business? Of course, in order to appease the general, the excuse was that the additional 1,100 troops were on temporary duty.
Was he getting ready?
Not
to
a bad response to cover what he shouldn't have said. In reality, all of those troops deployed in Syria and other places are on temporary duty. We don't have a trooper anywhere in this world that's on permanent duty. The president, the commander-in-chief, is not on permanent duty.
Well, we know
he's on
that.
temporary duty. Troop strengths and troop movements should, in my opinion, stay secret. Not because Americans would use that information for gain, but because we don't want bad players. We don't want the bad players out there to use it for their game. They play dirty. Mike, you're back.
Hey, everybody. Want to speak on this current topic. I was a part of the 172nd Strike Brigade in Iraq, and we finished the first year in Iraq, and then we got extended in Iraq for additional 4 months by Donald Rumsfeld. Donald Rumsfeld, personally, because we were just taking down all the top people. So when we got extended, we had people in the air coming home to Alaska. I was with the commander of the rear attachment, so I was like one of the last to leave when we looked at CNN, and they're blabbering all our business. The 172nd got extended, and they're here located in Mosul, Iraq, and they're going to be traveling down to the capital city, and there's the one road that, between them and here. So you already know what happened next.
Yep.
The enemy pretty much laid IEDs throughout that whole route. And they designed their IEDs simply for us because we were the first strikers in country, and they like pierced our hole. So we lost like 26 strikers, and I think we had a couple people hurt, but no one basically got killed.
Good.
But then after that, we pretty much took our aggression out on the Iraqi people, and it cost the U.S. government, millions of dollars, because we was just instead of clearing the house, we was just taking out the corner of their houses with the striker, dragging the cars down the street, stuff like that. So basically, it was just unnecessary. Like, do they really need to know that much?
And it happens inside this country too, in another way with the media. Because I've watched this. I was the media. You understand that, right? I was the media at one time. I was television. I was the news director. Before that, I was a reporter. I was a photographer. I was a producer. I was the assignment manager. I've done all of those fields in news, television news, for a long time. But I was also a cop for 18 years. And when I would go to a scene where there was a hostage situation, and I was in TV when we first got into ENG vans. Those are what they call electronic news gathering devices, live trucks with microwave antennas and stuff like that, those 50-foot dishes up there, 50-foot towers that put on top of a van. It telescopes up, and you can send live pictures back. And then we'd show up at a scene, like let's say a hostage situation, and you start televising what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Do you think that I allowed that where I was? Absolutely not, because there are TVs inside a hostage taker's place. That was some of the dumbest stuff that I've ever seen on TV, and it was doing the same thing. It put the cops' lives in jeopardy. It put the hostages in jeopardy too, but the cops' lives, wow. Can you imagine that? Yeah. Why don't you just pick up the phone and call the bad guys and say, hey, we're getting ready to kick your door in? No. Mm-hmm. Kiss my backside.
It was one thing for them to report that, we were getting extended, but to actually show that really ticked us off.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Livid.
I agree. I agree with Mike, yes.
Yeah, we had that one road to travel down the entire division.
Yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, but, we got past it. Donald Rumsfeld retired. He resigned over it.
Yeah, he
It was
should
a
have.
big fiasco.
Yeah, sometimes the brass comes in and they don't know enough to keep their backsides.
They should.
The brass,
Yeah.
they don't know what they should not pay. That's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
That is the problem.
True story. As he was flying, he flew into Alaska Anchorage to apologize to the families.
Too
Shot
late.
out the helicopter. They shot out the helicopter.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, they shot at it. Crazy.
That's called frustration.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, they didn't play back then, but yeah, that was a little. I want to give y'all that story because
All right.
crazy
Hey.
stuff.
Mike, I appreciate it, sir. Have a great weekend.
Yes, very
Yep.
nice.
No, you-
Very
you
good.
take care.
I'm glad he did.
Luigi Mangione.
Oh,
Okay, I'm going to wrap this up with some good news.
I'm still furious over people treating him like he's a hero. But
The
go ahead.
26-year-old former Ivy Leaguer charged with murdering the CEO of United Healthcare is likely going to face additional charges. And it's surprising Mr. Alvin Bragg and company. A new federal criminal complaint alleges charges of stalking, murder through the use of a firearm, and federal firearms offenses.
There you
A
go.
1, a 2, and a 3. The
Mhm.
feds accused Mangione of keeping a journal. They got his journal. Keeping a journal in which he outlined his intended actions, his plot,
Okay.
talked about choosing a victim, and then in his journal congratulated himself for continuing to research his intended victim. Look, he wrote, or words to that effect. The so-called geek seems to have forgotten a couple things. Don't tell anyone about your plans. A secret is only a secret as long as you are the only person that knows it. And don't put anything into writing, especially before the big event. That shows premeditation. It verifies that he stalked his prey, a separate charge. It just shows a lack of real intelligence of even a street thug. He should go back to his computers because he ain't a good street thug.
It's not as smart as he.
The new federal
proclaims.
case, you ready for this one?
Yes, I
This
am
is
ready.
the good news of the day.
Okay.
The
good
new
news.
federal case brings the potential for the death penalty back into the equation should Mangione be convicted. Mangione's
Good.
New York criminal defense attorney, Ms. Karen Friedman Agnafilo,
She's
caught off guard by the federal
Mhm.
charges and suggested the Manhattan DA's office was also left in the dark by the Southern District. But that's a good thing. That can keep Alvin Bragg's hoodlums from making deals with no deals are needed. There are no deals needed in this case. This is open and shut. Besides, the federal government has got plenty of lethal fentanyl in its evidence lockers, so there will be no need to spend extra tax dollars of questionable drugs. And in so doing,
Ooh.
they could provide Mangione with a very
Potent drink
happy ending.
mixed with a little bit of powder in it. Who would know?
Only him as he started shaking.
I'm going to tell you, it just infuriates me when I go on to some type of social media, and there's more than just Facebook, and you're reading stories about these people who are hailing him as a hero.
He ain't a hero. He's
You're
a
not a
stupid
hero
puke.
because you disagree or because you're upset. It does not give you the right to take another life. And there's women out there that find him attractive, and they're fawning all. Really, every
Would you
one
take
of you.
him home with you?
No.
Would you? I don't care how attractive you think you find him. Would you take him home with you and keep him?
Let him
Would
get
you?
upset about supper and shoot you. I mean, I cannot believe the mentality.
Honey, I
Of
told you I
some
didn't
of
like.
these
I told you
people.
I didn't like eggs, and you fried me eggs this morning. Goodbye.
What is wrong with people? What is wrong with these women who
I don't
have
know.
to
You
idolize
you'll have
him?
to answer that. I have no clue. I'm just.
Ignorant. It's stupid.
I cannot. Charlie Manson had a following.
Look, you and I, most every morning, we're discussing health care, the cost, the expense, trying to pick the right policy. It is so frustrating. I tried for a couple of weeks calling federal, calling the state back and forth.
I
Oh,
got to
you
go in
need
there
to
now
call
and do it.
federal. federal say you need to call the state, and it is so frustrating. And then when you finally do call somebody, and then you get a recording right away that says, because of the number of people we have online, right, blah blah blah, we're talking to, call back later, and it goes on for hours. I get so frustrated.
Yeah.
But am I going to go out and shoot a CEO of an insurance company? No.
I might go cut the wires going to the building that you're operating out
Might
of.
flat his tire or something, but but yeah, I'm not going to shoot
Low
somebody
leak.
because I mean, what? And then I don't idolize the fact that you killed a person. These people idolizing the killer of.
I don't.
What is wrong
These
with
are
people?
people that have never
Probably worked a day in their life.
have never had a family member or someone
Been
that they
responsible,
love or
right.
anybody that's gotten killed.
Right.
They've never had anything like that.
Right.
They've never had to tell the relatives of anybody that person is no longer coming home. They haven't done that kind of thing. Who are idolizing this pile of crap.
He's got a family now that is going to spend this Christmas grieving and mourning the loss
The victim.
of the victim.
And everybody's
And-
making a big deal out of this clown
yes.
named Mangione.
I say
Why?
make him starve Christmas Day. Give him no food.
Oh, I'll feed him.
Just here. I know that those accused have rights too, but
Yeah, right.
I mean they have rights, but whoa. It looks like Jennifer again, and my phone just went crazy.
You got a telephone. It goes crazy all the
I
time.
know it.
Hello.
It's me again, Margaret.
Hello,
Do
me
you know
again, Margaret.
what's worse? Do you know what's worse than all these hot tail girls that think he's so cute and getting out there and saying, oh, they should, blah, blah. You know what's worse than that? The likes of Elizabeth think she's a native Warren getting on national television and saying, you can only, I don't condone murder, but you can only push some people
I
so
saw
far.
that. That's a
Now,
ignorant
and she's
statement.
an elected official for crying out
Mhm.
loud. And she gets on national television on the news and says that. And the boy didn't even have United Healthcare insurance.
I know.
He just killed him. I mean, and even if he did, for crying out loud, why would you say that? That's the mentality of them.
Well, I would say to
I told Terry, I said, oh Lord, I got to call him back.
I would say to Pocahontas right now, Elizabeth Pocahontas, whatever her name is, I would say to her right now, yeah, you can only push people so far. Now you need to go look into the mirror and tell yourself that, because there are people out there that you have pushed just so far. Pocahontas.
You're exactly right.
Think about
You're
it.
exactly right.
God, what a
Exactly.
dork.
But anywho, I'll leave you alone now.
Have a good weekend. Tell Terry we said hey.
Oh, well, he hears you.
No, I know he
All right,
does.
bye-bye.
Well, a lot of these major health companies now have gone onto their websites and taken off names and pictures
Good.
of
I
their.
wouldn't put them up there.
Yeah, they've taken off their names and the information
And they've also
on it.
got security.
and pictures.
A lot
Yes,
of them have security
because
people around.
that's the first thing I do is like take the website down for a little while.
Take them for, yep.
It's just unreal.
All right, we're
Alrighty.
wrapping up another day. We're wrapping up the last Friday before Christmas, the
Yes.
second to the last Friday before New Year's, and then before the end of the year, and then
I'm
we
ready.
got a month to go. One
I'm
month
ready
to
for
go from
January.
today, y'all. There will be a new president.
Yes,
I
there
didn't
will
say
be.
30 days. It's 1 month from today, and it won't be on a Friday. What is it's a Wednesday, I think, right? I don't
It's the
know. Whatever.
20th. I have to look it up.
Maybe Monday, Tuesday, something like it's somewhere around that time. It's going to be happening.
Right.
Donald J. Trump will take the oath of office for the second time,
Right.
and he won't be doing it on Twitter.
No, he won't.
And I haven't read a whole lot of Twitter and tweeting and whatever Xing or whatever
I
it's
do a
called
lot
now.
of Xing.
I'm talking about from him.
Oh,
I haven't read any news coverage of a bunch of it.
Well, he's got that Truth Social, and you're right. He's not been doing a lot of Xing or Truth Social.
doesn't
right?
need
He's
it.
busy.
Just do your job,
I will say,
Mr. President-elect.
I've seen a change in him. I feel like he's changed.
Well, getting shot
somewhat.
will do that. Even if it was a close call with death.
Right.
It wasn't, getting shot. Yeah. Treated and released. Yeah. Okay.
Well, he's learned a lot too from his first term,
Yeah.
and then had 4 years to sit back and say,
stew and say,
yes,
who am I going to blame for this? Well, it comes down to it.
yes.
It was me.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I see the usual stuff. You've got
I'm
trying to pass the budget, and everybody's going to blame each other, and they're going to keep on like, well, let's go for 3
I've got a
months.
feeling we're getting ready to see this guy that they got in there sitting in the as head of the Secret Service right now.
Yes.
He ain't going to make it. He was sort of there, but apparently indications are that Donald J. is not taking his calls.
Oh, you're talking about the interim CCA SSS director right now? Because let me
Secret
tell you what,
Interim is not. He wants to be in.
USSS, right? But him and a congressman got into
Yes.
such a heated debate a couple weeks ago.
He's
I
not.
was like,
He doesn't have the directorship, the director's ability. I don't think.
well, we
so
have
we'll
to
see.
realize that he came in at a very bad time.
He did, but
and trying to clean up, but
he can't clean it up.
But it's going to take a lot more than that. And then I hear tell where he should have been doing this or that. He was opting to go to something that was fun or gave him attention or whatever, or talk about different things that he's done. I don't know, but we'll see what happens.
I don't
But
think
you
he's gonna
talk
make it.
about heated. Woo.
Okay. Y'all that's
Stress
something you
me.
can watch over the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
Just wonder how many people that are gonna get approved at the last minute, and what Trump's going to have to do for those who are not. Word is, I think Hedgeseth is going to be in.
Yeah, from
of
what I've been
contentious
reading,
stuff.
different news organizations, not just one, but several,
I'm looking at
and reading at a
other
lot of it. I
sources.
think he's and listening to actual interviews with senators and congressmen.
until
They said, yeah, he's going to get in and tell us.
I don't think there's a problem with that.
No, it is. If you don't like him and he gets in, I mean, it doesn't mean he's in there for 4 years.
No.
We'll wait and see what happens.
You
If
can
he
be
does
fired.
the job, fine.
You can be fired.
You could be
So,
fired first
All
month.
right, coming up Monday morning at 7:30. Set your clocks. Get up early enough. Get a cup of coffee. Get some hot
That's
chocolate.
right.
Do whatever you got to do to
Special
open your
guest.
eyes, open your ears, and get ready. We're going to be talking with one of our friends, a great guy,
Absolutely.
the district attorney
Ernie Lee.
for Onslow and 3 other counties.
Yes.
4, 5, yep, a bunch of counties.
Right.
We got Pender, Jones, and Sampson,
Sampson, Duplin.
So it's 5 counties, I believe.
Yes.
I don't know how many there are. I have to figure that out every time. The judicial
Is it
district is different.
fourth
Judicial
judicial?
district is different than the
Number of counties.
than the districts for.
We'll have it straightened out by then.
Yeah,
It's
I
been a
know the
long week.
district attorney.
Yes.
The prosecutorial district is different than the judicial district, and that always
Most
confuses
definitely,
me.
yes. Yes.
So that's where I get
You're
confused.
correct.
But he's got Onslow County. That's what
That's all that matters to us. But I'll
How
tell
many
you what,
people are out there? How many capital cases does he have still to try? And how many murder cases? How many people have been in jail
and we're
in
going
these
to bring
districts?
up that Burlington case.
Yeah, well,
I want to know why a murderer was out on bond.
absolutely.
Awaiting
Waiting sentencing. I mean, he'd been convicted. This bailiff, take this man into custody, put him in jail.
As soon as they said guilty, the cops should have gone on and put him in
Should
jail
have.
with no bond.
First of all, he should not have been out on bond in the first place on a
Madness.
first-degree murder trial, a
Let's
charge.
find
Okay, we'll
someone.
see you on Monday morning. So
Right.
get yourselves ready for that. Have a great
Stay
weekend.
warm.
And, you better put an extra pair of socks on if you're going outside.
Something real quick. Remind people to check their antifreeze in their vehicles too.
Yeah, if you're going to be driving that thing, check your
Uh-huh.
antifreeze. And, you're going to have ice on your windshields if it gets any moisture out there whatsoever if you park outside. So don't drive with that stuff on there. That's also illegal.
That's right.
The scraping a little hole in that ice is just so you can get down the road a little bit. That's illegal. You can scrape it, but you can't drive
Go
with
to the
scrape.
auto store, even at
Today.
places like Walmart. You can get gallon jug of de-ice degreaser,
Uh-huh.
put it in a spray bottle, keep it in your vehicle. When you go out to get in it, you just hit it a couple times with the spray. Boom.
It's
you're good.
gone.
It's good.
We're not getting into snow this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
We'll see you Monday morning. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there. You're live in your local Real Talk right here on our Facebook channel and our YouTube channel. Have a good weekend. Be safe.